Most people underestimate what they can do part-time. They think if it's not their full-time job, it doesn't count. But let me tell you something. The magic often begins in those quiet hours after work, when the world slows down and your dreams wake up. You don't have to quit what you're doing. Just start using your spare time wisely, because how you spend those extra hours will shape the kind of future you build. Most people underestimate what they can do part-time. They think if it's not their full-time job, it doesn't count, that the hours after work are meant only for rest or entertainment. But let me tell you something. The magic often begins in those quiet hours after work, when the world slows down and your dreams begin to wake up. You don't have to quit what you're doing. You just have to start using your spare time wisely, because how you spend those extra hours will shape the kind of future you build. I began learning this lesson many years ago. I used to think success belonged to those who worked 9 to 5 at something special. That opportunity came to the lucky or the chosen. But one day, I realized that my evenings were quietly disappearing. Television, gossip, idle talk, nothing that moved me forward. And I asked myself, what if I used just a few of these hours for something that could change everything? That was the beginning of what I now call the magic of part-time ambition. Part-time ambition means you start where you are with what you have, and you do it while still keeping your responsibilities. It means you take a portion of your time and invest it in personal growth, in learning, in building something meaningful. Maybe it's reading a book instead of watching another episode. Maybe it's writing your ideas down instead of scrolling through distractions. Because what you do after work often determines whether you ever get to leave that work behind. You see, it's not about how many hours you have in a day. It's about how you use them. Every person gets 24. The difference between success and stagnation lies in what you do with the hours after the paycheck stops. Most people finish their day and think, now I can rest. The successful finish their day and think, now I can grow. And that little difference changes everything. You don't need a big idea. You just need a little one. A spark, and a consistent effort to fan it into a flame. Maybe your part-time ambition is starting a small business, learning a skill, or writing that book you've been talking about for years. The key is to begin. Don't wait until you have more time. You'll never have more time. You make time by choosing how to spend it. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Ambition without discipline is like a car without fuel. It looks good, but it doesn't move. Every evening, decide to invest a little in yourself. Read 10 pages, make one call, practice your craft, plan your next move. The magic doesn't happen in one night, but over many nights of quiet effort when no one is watching. And remember, success doesn't demand that you give up everything. It just asks that you use what you already have more wisely. Those hours between the day's work and your rest are the bridge between who you are and who you could become. That's where people transform their lives, in the moments they could waste but don't. So tonight, when you go home, take a look at your spare time and ask yourself, what could I create with this? What could I learn, build, or begin that would make my future self proud? Because one day, if you stay consistent, your part-time effort could turn into your full-time freedom. And that, my friends, is the real magic, when what you started part-time becomes the life you always dreamed of living. The beauty of life is that you don't have to do everything all at once. You can begin with a little. You can begin part-time. Most people think that unless they quit their job, unless they go all in, they can't start something meaningful. But the truth is, some of the greatest successes in history were built in the extra hours. The early mornings, the late nights, the weekends that others used for nothing. That's the magic of part-time ambition. It's not about quitting your life, it's about improving it. It's about using the hours most people waste to build the life most people dream about. Part-time ambition begins with a decision that says, I will not let my time slip away unnoticed. You don't need to start big, you just need to start. You can build something powerful from your kitchen table, your laptop, your notebook, your imagination. You can take a few hours after work and start writing, learning, studying, or planning. You can spend those hours creating instead of consuming. That's how all great change begins, not in one grand leap, but in quiet, consistent effort. When you decide to use your spare time for growth, something changes in you. You begin to see possibilities that others overlook. You stop waiting for opportunity to knock, and you start building the door yourself. And suddenly your evenings feel different. Your weekends feel different, because now they mean something. They're no longer just time off. They're time invested. You see, most people finish their job and think, I'm done. But successful people finish their job and think, now my real work begins. The hours after work are where you build your new future. They're where you learn the skills that can free you. They're where you create options. Maybe your job pays the bills, but your part-time ambition can pay for your dreams. Jim Rohn used to say, profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living, but profits from your ideas, your growth, your side effort can make you a fortune. But that fortune doesn't come to those who only wish. It comes to those who are willing to give up a little comfort today for a lot of freedom tomorrow. You don't have to. Give up your evenings every night, just enough of them to make your dreams possible. Discipline is the bridge between ambition and achievement. You might feel tired after work. You might feel like you've done enough. But if you can find just one more hour, one more bit of focus, one more reason to push, that's where progress happens. Because success doesn't come from one massive act of courage. It comes from hundreds of small acts of consistency. Part-time ambition teaches you something priceless, that you have more control over your life than you think. You don't need anyone's permission to grow. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start where you are with what you have and do what you can. 1 hour a day, one book a week, one idea nurtured long enough. That's how ordinary people create extraordinary lives. So tonight, when you look at your clock, don't just count the hours, make the hours count. Trade a little television for transformation. Trade scrolling for studying. Trade comfort for creation. Because what you build in your spare time can one day give you all the time in the world. That's the magic of part-time ambition. Turning a few extra hours into a life beyond your imagination. There is something truly powerful about the hours that belong only to you. The hours after the world has finished its business, when the noise quiets down and you are left alone with your thoughts, your dreams, and your potential. That's where the magic of part-time ambition lives. You see, you don't need to quit your job, sell your possessions, or move to a new city to change your life. All you need to do is reclaim the hours that others waste, because the difference between success and mediocrity is often hidden in how people spend their spare time. Most people spend those hours trying to escape the day. They turn on the television, scroll through their phones, or lose themselves in distractions. And while they do, time slips quietly through their fingers. But the ambitious person, the one who dreams of more, treats those same hours as an opportunity, not for rest, but for building, for learning, for becoming. The real transformation in life doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the quiet, unnoticed moments when you decide to make something of yourself instead of wasting your time. You can work full-time on your job and part-time on your dreams. You can keep your responsibilities while still building a future beyond them. In fact, that's often the smartest way to begin, because your job provides stability while your ambition builds possibility. That's what Jim Rohn meant when he said, I'm working full-time on my job and part-time on my fortune. He understood that fortune begins in the moments after you clock out. Part-time ambition means using those small pieces of time, an hour before work, an hour after dinner, a few quiet minutes before bed, to invest in your own growth. Read the book that feeds your mind. Write the plan that gives your life direction. Practice the skill that makes you valuable. Because success isn't built on intensity, it's built on consistency. You don't need to do everything today. You just need to do something every day. And make no mistake, it won't always be easy. You'll be tired. You'll feel like skipping a day. You'll be tempted to say, it's just one night. But remember, one night becomes a week, and a week becomes a year. Success demands that you fight for your future even when you don't feel like it. The reward for your effort will come slowly, but it will come. Every hour you invest after work is a seed planted for your tomorrow. One day those seeds will grow into something that frees you, a business, a skill, a mindset, a life you're proud of. Most people spend their evenings avoiding life. The few who win spend them creating it. Don't underestimate the value of what you can build in a few hours each day. That small idea, that little spark you work on when no one else is watching, can grow into something so powerful that it changes everything. So the next time you say you don't have time, look again. You do have time. It's just hiding in your evenings, your mornings, your weekends. And what you do with those moments will decide who you become. The magic of part-time ambition is that it allows you to build your dream without giving up your security, to grow without losing your balance, and to transform your spare time into your best time. Because someday, if you stay disciplined, your part-time effort will become your full-time freedom. And you'll look back and realize that the hours you once thought were small were, in fact, the hours that changed your life. There's something extraordinary about the moments most people overlook. The quiet spaces between responsibilities, the hours after work, the early mornings before the world wakes up. That's where the seeds of success are planted. That's where the magic of part-time ambition begins. You don't have to give up your job or abandon your routine to chase your dreams. You simply need to decide that your spare time will no longer be wasted, because in those few extra hours each day lies the power to transform your entire life. Most people never realize how valuable their evenings are. They come home, drop their bags, turn on the television, and think the day is over. But the successful think differently. They understand that when the workday ends, the building of their dream begins. That's the secret that separates those who make a living from those who make a fortune. Your job pays the bills, but your part-time ambition builds your future. Jim Rohn once said, "Work full-time on your job, but part-time on your fortune." That idea changed the lives of millions because it's simple, practical, and powerful. It means you don't have to wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. You start with what you have right now, after hours, in your spare moments. Maybe it's an hour a night reading something that stretches your mind. Maybe it's taking an online course, writing a business plan, creating content, or practicing a skill. Every small effort counts because those hours add up, and soon you'll realize that your part-time efforts have created a foundation strong enough to change everything. Part-time ambition is about using your time with purpose. You can't control how much time you get in a day, but you can control how you spend it. And here's the truth. Your future self is watching. The question is, will they thank you for how you used your evenings or regret that you let them slip away? The future belongs to those who are willing to invest in themselves when no one else is watching. Of course, it takes discipline. It's not easy to come home tired and still choose to learn, to practice, to create. But discipline is the difference between a wish and a plan. Every time you choose to do something productive with your spare time, you're training your mind for success. You're saying, I value my future more than my comfort. And that kind of decision compounds like interest. Small efforts made daily turn into big results over time. Part-time ambition teaches patience. It teaches persistence. It reminds you that success is built quietly, not loudly. No one will applaud you when you read instead of watch TV. No one will notice when you study late or work on your craft after midnight. But one day, they'll see the results, and they'll call you lucky. What they won't see are the hundreds of evenings you spent doing what others wouldn't. So don't wait for tomorrow. Start tonight. Spend an hour building something for yourself. Write that page, study that lesson, send that email, make that plan. The world is built by people who use their spare time wisely. Because what you do part-time today can become your full-time reality tomorrow. That's the magic of part-time ambition. It turns ordinary moments into the foundation of an extraordinary life. Every great dream begins quietly. It doesn't start with fanfare or applause. It begins in silence, in those small moments when no one is watching, when the world has slowed down and you finally have time to think, to plan, to build. That's the essence of part-time ambition. It's the decision to turn the hours most people waste into the hours that will one day set you free. You don't need to quit your job to change your life. You just need to start using your spare time to work on yourself, your goals, and your vision. Because while others are resting, you can be rising. Part-time ambition is one of the most powerful ideas Jim Rohn ever shared. He said, work full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune. That single sentence holds the key to transformation. It means you can take care of your responsibilities during the day while building your dreams at night. You can earn a living and build a life. It's not an either-or choice, it's both. But it requires awareness of how valuable your spare time truly is. Those few hours after work are more powerful than you think. They're the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. The question is, what do you do with them? Do you spend them numbing your mind with entertainment, or do you spend them sharpening your mind for excellence? Do you let the hours drift away, or do you use them as building blocks for your future? Every choice you make in your spare time writes a small line in the story of your destiny. Success doesn't demand that you have all day. It only asks that you use part of your day wisely. Most people think they need massive change to achieve success. They imagine quitting everything, moving somewhere new, or waiting for perfect timing. But that's not how it works. Greatness grows gradually. It grows from daily habits, small disciplines, quiet consistency. Part-time ambition is about choosing to take those small steps every day. It's about reading instead of scrolling, learning instead of wasting time, planning instead of procrastinating. It's about building momentum in the background of your life until it becomes the main story. Yes, it takes discipline. Yes, it takes sacrifice. You will be tired. You will have nights when you'd rather do nothing. But every hour you invest in your dream makes you stronger, wiser, and closer to freedom. And here's the beautiful part. Success gained this way lasts. Because when you build something slowly through effort and patience, it becomes a part of you. It's not luck, it's character. It's not chance, it's choice. Imagine this. 1 year from now, you could be in the same place you are today, or you could be living a life you built in your spare time. 1 hour a day, one decision at a time, one consistent act of belief. That's all it takes. The magic of part-time ambition is that it doesn't ask for everything from you. It only asks for something. But that something, that small, steady commitment, can change everything. So tonight, when the day ends and the world goes quiet, ask yourself, what can I create in the next hour that will move me closer to my dream? Then go do it. Because the future belongs to those who use their part-time to build full-time freedom.